Okay, let's get into this. Imagine this tiny, pale silver pill. Chronoceptin was the official name, right?
And that's it. But everyone just knew it as undo.
Undo. Simple enough. One pill, you take it, and you jump back 10 minutes. Your own past. Full memory.
Exactly. But, and this is the key, you only ever got one. That's it.
One shot. Non-transferable. Couldn't be stolen. Inalienable, they said.
Inalienable. And the moment this became real, March 1st, 2046, the Global Ethics Council just decreed it. Every single person gets one.
Wow. Can you just picture that? The initial, global gasp. Suddenly all those what-ifs weren't just thoughts anymore.
Right. Tangible possibilities. And the story started almost immediately.
Oh, yeah, that first wave. The big one was the mother, wasn't it? Sees her kid run into the street.
Takes the undo, just seconds back, shouts, the child's safe.
And boom, instantly the pill is seen as this amazing, almost divine safety net, a guardian angel button.
A really potent image, for sure. Taps right into that primal urge to protect. But, after that initial sort of awe wore off.
Things got murkier.
Yeah, the less clear-cut uses started popping up. The ones that hinted maybe this wasn't purely a force for good.
Right, because it wasn't just saving lives. You had, didn't one source mention a guy using his only undo to, win an argument with his wife?
He did. Went back, changed his words, and apparently she was even more upset the second time around.
Okay, so not a guaranteed win there. And then the stock trader.
Yes. Sees a rival make a brilliant move, takes the undo, goes back maybe 5-6 minutes, makes the same move just before them.
Okay, that's different. That's when you realize, isn't it? Something basic just shifted.
Exactly. Time itself always felt like this constant, unchangeable river, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly it felt negotiable. It had a price, or at least an opportunity cost.
And that must have changed how people behaved day to day.
Oh, profoundly.
Yeah.
If you look at the broader picture, the data suggests a real uptick in risk aversion.
Makes sense. If you've got this one lifeline, this single do-over.
You hesitate more,
Yeah.
right? We saw drivers becoming, well, almost timid. Gamblers playing much safer bets. Even chefs, sticking rigidly to the recipe, less experimenting.
Hovering parents, too, I bet.
Absolutely. It was like this whisper everywhere. You only get one. Don't blow it.
Like walking on eggshells, knowing you have the safety net, but being terrified of actually needing it. Or maybe worse, wasting it on something trivial.
And society, well, it had to scramble to adjust, didn't it? You can't just introduce something this massive and expect things to stay the same.
So what did they try? I saw mentions of undue awareness seminars in schools.
Yeah, trying to grapple with it early, teaching ethics, the psychological weight, maybe just technicalities, and then the disclosure clauses.
Marriages. Wow.
Can you imagine, honey, before we sign this, anything in the last 10 minutes of your life pre-undo I should know about?
Awkward. What about that registry? Temporal usage registry? Was that mandatory?
No, optional. Which, brings up its own questions. Privacy versus transparency when your personal timeline isn't quite fixed.
And then these crises hit. The moments that really peeled back the layers, like the woman in the fire.
Yeah. Trapped in the burning building. Escape seems possible, maybe just seconds away. Her hand even moves towards her pocket where the undo would be.
But she doesn't take it. Why? It seems like the perfect moment.
It does, doesn't it? But the reason? It turns out she'd already used hers. Years before.
Or what? Something huge.
To stop herself sending a text. An angry text, presumably, to an ex-boyfriend.
Wow. A text message. Compared to a burning building.
It seems small, right? But it says so much about the weight we give our past actions, even the ones we erase. Maybe regret overusing it, then stopped her. Or just acceptance. Who knows? But that past choice lingered.
It really makes you think about what qualifies as undue-worthy, which I guess brings us to Jamie Arlen.
Right. 29 years old, network security. And crucially, she still had her undo, hadn't used it.
And she talked about it with her friend Derek, the barista studying astrophysics.
Yeah, they had this sort of ongoing dialogue, this shared idea about saving it, waiting for something. Jamie said, something real, something that matters.
Kind of pact, almost, a respect for the power of it.
Exactly. A shared sense of maybe responsibility. You wonder how many people felt that way, holding on to it for that big one.
And then the second crisis hits, much bigger scale, the assassination of President Rojar.
A global shockwave, watched live by millions. And in those awful final moments, cameras catch her hand going to her pocket, towards her undo.
But she stops. She doesn't take it either.
She doesn't. And then her letter comes out afterwards, explaining why. It threw fuel on the fire.
What was her reason?
It was deeply personal. Years earlier, she'd used her undo to take back something hurtful she'd said to her brother,
Right.
and she'd come to regret erasing that moment. Her point was profound, really. She argued that even painful truths, mistakes, they shape us. Erasing them diminishes us, our shared history.
Wow. I can see how that would ignite protests. The slogans, the undo is tyranny, memory shouldn't be monopoly.
Life must include error. These weren't just political chants. They were hitting at something fundamental about being human, weren't they? The right to fail, maybe,
It became this huge philosophical clash. You had the Let It Stand League popping up, arguing for, like, dignity in owning your mistakes.
versus those saying, hang on, this is a right. A right to fix a catastrophe, to pull life back from disaster. Is it dignity, or is it just choosing helplessness? Fear.
And that whole societal debate, it played out on a small scale, too, didn't it, between Jamie and Derek?
It did, rather poignantly. He admits to her, kind of sheepishly, that he'd actually used his undo just a few minutes before they met for lunch that day,
Used his. On what?
on a, quote, stupid comment he'd made to her that hadn't landed well.
Oh, wow. So he rewound their own conversation just minutes earlier.
Exactly. And she didn't take it well at all.
I can imagine. The result was, what, 3 weeks of silence?
Yeah. Just strained silence. It highlights how this thing, the undo, it messes with relationships too, that layer of doubt. Was that real? Am I talking to the first draft of you or the edited version?
Creates this weird temporal ambiguity. Undermines trust.
Precisely. And then the third crisis, and this one lands right at Jamie's feet.
Derek's death.
Yeah. A car crash. Swerved to avoid a kid who ran out. A totally selfless act.
God. And the unbearable detail.
He didn't use his undo.
Yeah.
In that split second, life or death. He didn't use it.
And Jamie's just left, holding her own unused pill.
And facing this awful realization, even if she took it now right then,
Yeah.
10 minutes isn't enough. She can't go back far enough to save him.
That one chance, the one she saved so carefully for something real, suddenly it feels both infinitely precious and totally useless.
A brutal lesson in the limits of the power, isn't it? It can't fix everything. It can't undo grief.
So what happens? A year goes by.
A year later, Jamie goes to visit Derek's grave. She finds his old phone, somehow gets it working, and sees one last unread text message he sent her.
What did it say?
Just, I never told you, but I meant it.
Oh, wow. And what does she do?
In that moment, standing there by the grave, she finally uses her undo.
She takes it. After all that,
Ah.
not to save him, obviously, but...
No, just for those 10 minutes, at the edge of the cemetery.
And what happens in that rewind?
It's quite a scene, as described. She encounters her past self. Herself from 10 minutes ago arriving at the cemetery, still heavy with grief, but before reading that text.
Does she talk to herself?
Not really. It's more this silent understanding. The future Jamie, the one who just took the pill, holds out her own undo pill to her past self, an offering,
Oh.
and her past self just gently shakes her head,
Mm.
refuses it. Then the future Jamie, the one from our present, she just smiles, turns and walks away.
Acceptance. Realizing you can't, or maybe shouldn't, erase certain paths, certain truths, even painful ones.
Yeah, a powerful symbol of accepting consequences, maybe? Understanding that who we are is tied to those moments, the undone ones.
So where does that leave things? We still don't really know how many people have theirs left, do we?
The numbers are fuzzy. Surveys estimated maybe 41% still holding on to them. It's a huge chunk of the population still living with that potential.
Why hold on for so long? What are the theories?
Oh, probably as many reasons as there are people. Love, maybe? Holding out hope they could save someone vital someday?
Or fear?
Definitely fear. Fear of wasting it, fear of not knowing the right moment, fear of the consequences of changing anything at all, paralysis,
And maybe hope.
and hope, yes. That quiet belief that the moment it's really for, the big one, just hasn't happened yet.
It comes back to that quote, doesn't it? The one from the retired physicist.
Yeah, that really sticks with you. It's a question, not an answer. Undo doesn't give us certainty. It reveals what we're most afraid to live with.
The past, the mistake, the truth.
And for those who wait, maybe that's the answer too. It's a fascinating final thought. What does waiting, holding on to that single chance, ultimately say about us? About our deepest fears and maybe our most enduring hopes?